Can the Flash stop Central City's worst villain ever? The Flash. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I check trade paperbacks and single issues and I read them back to you in a dramatic voice, very quickly in a very fast manner, almost like a flash fact. All alterations of the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. When we last left off, the Flash had finally stopped Eobard Thawne. But Thawne's ultimate plan had worked. The city no longer trusted the Flash because of the actions that he took to save them. On top of that, Wally West finally got his powers, and he's now dealing with that. This is the last storyline before Flash Rebirth, and it concludes the New 52 Flash run, which I think we've done a video for every storyline of. Over in Central City, Daryl walks Barry through the old police precinct to welcome him to his new job. It's a special project that came down from the mayor himself, and they needed the best forensic specialist on it. He might not like it, heck, Daryl isn't even thrilled about it. But starting today, Barry Allen is a part of the Rogues. Barry will be working with the Rogues in the city's effort to stop that menace, the Flash, before he has another chance to help by destroying more of the city. Daryl tells him that they have no choice. With the Flash's recent activities, he's done more harm than good. So who better to assist him than the Rogues, and they will be using and monitoring drones placed all over the city. All of these drones are in place so that if the Flash uses his speed energy, they will be able to pinpoint exactly where he is. Daryl says that he knows Barry won't be happy about this, but this is something that they need to do. Barry says that he understands, but he has to go take care of a few things before work. Barry heads over to the diner to meet with his father, and he tells him what's going on. The CCPD are hunting down the Flash because they're worried that his powers might not be safe. This is all Eobard Thawne's fault. But Henry asks him, are they right? Are you really unsafe? And Barry tells him that he doesn't think so. Harry then tells Barry that while he was in jail, he met a lot of people who were placed there because of the Flash, and he thought to himself that if the Flash was around when Barry's mother Nora was killed, he would have liked to have seen him then, and maybe she would still be alive. Even before knowing that Barry was the Flash, the police might not like it, but the city needs the Flash. Over in the industrial district though, a shadowy janitor decides to conduct an experiment and cause some chlorine trifluoride to leak. Barry gets a notice of the gas leak, so he suits up and he runs over at Flash speed to the plant to find some people still trapped inside. When he runs into the building, he notices the smell, and he knows that this chemical is extremely flammable. Even the smallest spark could set it off, like the ones that are caused when he runs. Seeing the shock about to ignite, Barry grabs the two workers and quickly blitzes out of the building just before the entire building explodes. But as he tells the worker that he's sorry about the plant, he hears a voice stating, "See? You are a danger." Barry turns to see Daryl and the rest of the Rogues. Daryl says that their first priority right now is to contain that fire, and after that, they're gonna handle the Flash. So Captain Cold freezes Barry in place, and the Rogues get to work stopping the fire. And once they do, it's time to go back to dealing with the Flash. Daryl tells the Flash that since he's shown up, this city has faced disaster, and the Flash says he understands. But he also knows that if he wasn't around, things would be much worse. And the other thing is, he can't stop fighting. Barry begins to vibrate to break free from the ice, holding him back. And then he begins to beat and knock out each of the Rogues. As usual, it's the Rogues, he wins all the time. As Barry finishes up though, Daryl points a gun at him, telling him to just give it up before anyone else gets hurt. But it doesn't stop the Flash. The Flash turns and he begins to try and run away to escape. And after he gets away, Daryl begins to look at the ice that was holding Barry in place. And that's when he found some key evidence that could help them figure out who exactly the Flash is. A sample of his blood was left behind. Elsewhere in the city, the janitor from the plant watches over a monitor, the same ones used by the CCPD when they watch for Barry's speed energies and decide where they're gonna move. And that's when he says his experiment went well. But tomorrow though, they'll begin a new experiment. Then the janitor walks off and a voice tells him, "Just kill me." And he turns to see a giant test tube asking, "Why would I do that, Heatwave? We're just getting warmed up." Later, back at the CCPD Special Task Force headquarters, Barry begins to argue with Captain Cold as to why they're even here. He's actually built cases twice to put these guys away. Captain Cold says that they're in the clear now. Even the mayor wrote off all of their crimes. And as the argument continues to escalate, Daryl comes in to stop their fight and telling them both that they need to focus. Barry should just take a look at the sample that they've collected. Barry mentions that he hasn't found anything out of the sample yet. That blood sample may be invalid, but he'll just take a little more time. He just needs to talk to his own experts first. Barry begins to walk off, knowing that he can't reveal who the blood sample belongs to because it's him. And Daryl tells Barry one more thing. "Tell your father I said hello." Over at Marshall Fletcher Middle School, Wally sits in a bathroom stall trying to figure out what exactly is going on. His hands, they won't stop shaking. The bell rings and finally it's time for class, so Wally walks over there and that's when he learns he can control the speed. He begins to move out of the stall, but then he moves at top speed, almost like a flash speed, and he makes it into the class as the teacher begins to go for roll call. As they call Wally's name, he runs in and he says he's here? Outside the building though, one of the drones watching over the city begins to pick up on the speed anomaly. Over at the Old Town Wharf, Barry begins to speak with his father about what he should do now that the CCPD has his blood. Seeing as Henry, his father, has studied speedster blood, Barry needs a way to counteract it. And Henry asks him, so you need help defeating yourself? Barry tells him no, he needs a way to make the blood look normal, basically destroying it. Back at the school, Wally sits down in the class and the students begin to see the windows starting to freeze over. Then a giant explosion goes off in the classroom and out steps the rogues. At the lake, the call goes out that there has been a speed abnormality and it's over at Wally's school. Barry says that if the rogues are there, someone might get hurt. And Henry tells him that he shouldn't go down there because they're gonna want to pick a fight. But by the time I finish this sentence, you're already gonna be gone. And by the time he finishes the sentence, Flash is already gone. Barry runs over to the school to find the rogues searching for the Flash, and right when Barry slows down, Barry asks them if they want to fight, then they're gonna need to do it away from the children. Weather Wizard tells him sure, and he blasts Barry through the wall into the hallway, and the rest of the rogues step through to have their turn. Captain Cold creates a pillar of ice which Barry has to break through, and then Weather Wizard creates a tornado picking up all of the broken shards of the ice. Barry says that they're gonna need to step things up because he can easily outrun all of this. And Weather Wizard once again tells him, sure. These might seem familiar, but we've added a few things, Flash. Mirror Master then creates mirrors all around him, and Golden Glider states that she knows that she can't stop him. She just wanted to distract him for a moment. And then all of the shards of ice begin shooting into the mirrors, hitting Barry. Barry picks himself up from the bloody mess that the rogues have turned him into, and he says, that was good. But you're gonna have to do a little more than that, and if you'll excuse me. Trickster then steps up and tells him to wait. The Flash didn't get a chance to see what he can do. He then pulls up his sleeve and he says that he's gonna teach these students about explosions with his bomb arm. Just watch. Trickster then fires his arm, pointing it right at the students. Barry begins to run to catch up to the arm, but when he does, he tells everyone to stay back as he grabs the bomb and he holds it close to himself. But why didn't it go off? Barry starts to inspect the arm and then it rockets out of his hands and grabs a hold of Barry's neck and arms. Daryl comes running in asking what happened, and Captain Cole tells him they did what they were supposed to do. The Flash is under arrest. A short while later, Daryl begins to walk the Flash out to the transport to bring him to jail. But before they can get him to the van, Mirror Master reaches for his mask. He wants to know finally who the Flash is, but Daryl stomps him. And he tells him, not like this, not in front of everyone. We'll handle this when we get to Iron Heights. Out from the crowd, Iris West asks if she can have a word with Daryl. Why are they arresting the Flash? And he tells her that that's because the Flash is a danger to the city. As Daryl gets in the van to leave, Wally runs up stating that they need to do something. They just arrested the Flash. The Flash came to Wally's classroom to protect them. Iris says that she knows the Flash came to protect Wally's classroom, but why would the police think that the Flash was there to begin with? Over at the wharf, word of the Flash's arrest travels quickly, and Henry makes a phone call and tells the person that he needs to collect a favor. Elsewhere, Trickster goes to visit the shadowy figure and tells him that the trick arm he gave him worked perfectly, and the figure tells him he knows. He's been watching the whole time. He was the one who sold the CCPD all of those drones, and with the Flash incarcerated, they can now step into a brighter future. Trickster looks up as our mysterious man pushes a button, and that's when he sees his friend, Heatwave, trapped by this mysterious man. Trickster states that he thought Heatwave died, but the man tells him no. Heatwave survived, and right now he's an insurance policy. And as for your new trick arm, the old one didn't have a bomb in it, but this one does. And don't worry about Heatwave. He'll be free as soon as we build our new empire. Over in Iron Heights, a guard comes by to let Girder out of his cell and tells him that he has a message from an old friend that they need to help out. But they're going to require the help of another inmate. Out in front of the building, Daryl begins to run the Flash through the process of booking, but before they can get much further into it, Girder comes running through the wall, breaking it down. The guards tell Girder not to move. They have new weapons just for someone with his metal skin, and Girder tells them, that's nice, I also have a secret. And then he looks back and says, you're up, Overload. Overload steps through and begins to sap all of the electricity from the arm holding the Flash, and soon the entire building. With all of the power being drained, the guards start to lose power in all of the cells, but with so much electricity pumping into him, Overload begins to cause a massive explosion. Daryl braces for the hit, but a second later, he sees himself and the other guards outside of the building. The Flash says that the walls won't hold much longer, and that Daryl and the rest of them need to leave. He's gonna go back and get everyone else. The Flash runs back in, picks up all of the guards, and places them on boats so that they can escape. But when they ask if he needs to ride back, the Flash tells him nah, he's good. And he starts to run back to the city across the water. As Barry gets back to the pier though, a drone goes off alerting everyone to his location being there. And then Barry is shot with another cold blast, freezing him in place. Barry tells the rogues that they need to work together. Iron Heights is destroyed. And Mirror Master says, yeah, we heard, but we really just don't care. We still need to put you in jail. He then pulls the Flash through a mirror on the ground, and he pushes him out the side of a tall building, letting him fall. The Flash tries to gain his balance, but then the Weather Wizard appears with another tornado, grabbing Barry and throwing him into the wall. Once he lands, the rogues all begin to gather around, but then the drones start to circle around all of them, and the drones begin to transform. Soon everyone hears a voice telling them, that's better. And then the drones begin to open fire on the rogues. Golden Glider turns to help out her fellow rogues, but then behind her, Trickster says that the man promised to teach him a new trick, and then he shoots a blast, disorienting Golden Glider. Barry starts to stand up and ask, who? Who is doing all of this? And then the voice tells him, who indeed? Why, none other than the Riddler. The rogues start to get back up, and Riddler tells them that they should walk away now. And he'll see to it that they get their bounty for the Flash. He's pretty sure that they can use it for life support. Mirror Master then asks, what did Trickster do? And he tells them that he just scattered Golden Glider's astral form. Her body is fine though. As the rogues leave, Barry starts to run and disarm all of the drones close by, stating that he can stop all of these before they can even get a shot off. And the Riddler tells him, yes, you're right. You can do that, Flash. So how would I beat a man that can catch a bullet? By having all of the drones pointed at everyone else in the city. Yeah, Flash, you could stop some of them, but not all of them. So if you want to try and disarm any more of these drones, they're all going to shoot. And if you try to stop me, the drones are going to shoot. Barry asks the Riddler, what am I supposed to do? The Riddler tells him, just sit there and take it. Riddler then pulls out a pair of brass knuckles, and he begins punching and beating the Flash down, and civilians begin to gather around. Riddler tells everyone that if they do anything to help, all of the drones will go off, and the Flash tells everyone to back off. Then a voice can be heard telling Riddler that the Flash isn't the only hero in town. The Pied Piper is one too. Pied Piper drives up and tells the Flash to get on, and the two of them ride off. The drones begin to chase after them, but they can't keep up as the Pied Piper pulls into a sewer. Flash tells him that was reckless. He could have hurt people. And the Pied Piper tells him, you know, that's a funny way of thanking me for saving you and all, but it doesn't matter anymore because it's time for me to help you save the city, Flash. Back topside with the Riddler, Daryl and the other officers show up to arrest the Riddler, but he tells them, that's not gonna happen. I control all of the drones. You're gonna kill everyone if you try to do anything to me. So, the CCPD? You guys work for me now. Later, Henry goes to see Iris West at work to see if she's heard anything from Barry, but before he can get any real answers, an announcement begins to play through the drones. Riddler tells everyone, I run Central City now, and the first thing I'm gonna do is have the Flash turn himself in. You've got 15 minutes to respond and come willingly, and if you don't, these drones are gonna open fire on everyone, Flash. So, is the Flash gonna be your hero, or is he gonna leave you all behind? Everyone in the city sits and waits, and the Riddler watches his watch, stating that he may have misjudged the Flash in saving everyone. Then he hears a voice telling him, no he didn't. Here he is. His name is Barry Allen, and he surrenders. With the Flash now having revealed his secret identity to the Riddler puts Barry into a guillotine and tells Daryl that he knows this must be an emotional time for him, seeing his surrogate son like this. But you better not cross me, because I still have Heatwave, and he's gonna level the entire city if anyone steps out of line. Barry tells Daryl, you're here to protect the city, just stand down, Daryl. Riddler declares, look what it took down to take the most powerful superhero. Not speed or strength, just my mind. And now it's time to smile for everyone watching your execution, Flash. Elsewhere in the city, Wally looks at one of the drones outside of his window and he figures it's time for him to do something. And he jumps out, disarming the drone. Back at Riddler's base, an alarm goes off that there has been another speed anomaly, and the Riddler begins to call Barry an imposter. The Flash is still out there. I'm picking up the speed anomalies. Luckily, no one knows Wally West has speed powers, so they all assume it's the Flash. Daryl helps Barry up, stating that he's not thrilled that the Flash used him as a decoy, but he needs to get out of here and tell the Flash to keep on fighting. Barry tells him that he will, and he knows just the people to help him. Over in Keystone City, the rogues hear a knock at the door, and the Trickster walks in. Captain Cole turns and freezes Trickster along the wall, but he breaks free, telling everyone that he has a bomb in his army and to do what the Riddler said. That and Heatwave is. But before he can finish, Barry appears and tells them alive. And if you want to help Heatwave, then we're all gonna need to work together for a bit, rogues. And to show them that he means to work with them, Barry pulls off Trickster's arm and begins to reset it. Once he's done, he hands it back to Trickster, telling him to go ahead and try that. There was a disruptor in there for Golden Glider. Trickster turns and shoots his beam at Golden Glider, and she begins to wake up. But instead of having a projection of her, she looks down and sees that her arm can begin to change. With Golden Glider officially altered by the same technology the Riddler used to get rid of her, everyone heads back to the city. And back over in the city, the Riddler begins to destroy the place. Barry calls him out, stating that he doesn't need to threaten anymore. You want the Flash? You got him. Riddler then orders the drones to attack, but before they can, Captain Cold and the rest of the rogues show up to stop the drones before they can fire. Then Pied Piper appears, sending in his rat army. Back at the Riddler's base though, Trickster, Mirror Master, and Golden Glider all show up to finally free Heatwave. While Barry and the others fight off the drones, the Riddler gets a notice of what Trickster is doing and he sets off the timer in the Trickster's arm. Trickster tells everyone to move. He's got an idea and he places the explosive arm along the test tube that is containing Heatwave. Once the timer hits 0, a giant explosion goes off. Mirror Master and Golden Glider get away, but when they look through the fire, they see someone walking, and it's Heatwave, carrying Trickster. Heatwave looks right at him and he tells them all, "I could really go for a pint, but Trickster should be okay as well." Back in the fight, Riddler begins to call in more drones and soon it begins to become too much for the rogues and the Flash. But as the next wave of drones appear, they're all shot down by Heatwave. With all of the rogues behind him, the Flash tells the Riddler that now that he has all of his drones here not targeting anyone, I don't have to hold back. Barry runs in, destroying all of the remaining drones, and then he tells the Riddler that this is his home, and you're no longer welcome here, Riddler. Riddler begins to walk away, and the rogues get ready to kill him, but Barry tells them to stop. There's no killing, just send the Riddler to jail. Behind them though, Daryl tells Barry that he'll take it from here, and for what he tried to do to the Flash, he's really sorry. Daryl then goes on to state that he hopes they can work together again. Barry tells him, soon enough. But first, I want to go for a run. And that concludes the New 52 run of The Flash. It goes right into Rebirth, and we're in a good spot. No one knows that Barry Allen is the Flash. That was resolved. The rogues are still, once again, kind of good guys, and the city is once again working with the Flash. Check out Flash Rebirth to see where this story goes next, and I hope you guys enjoyed the entire New 52 Flash run. We've done the whole thing, and I'm gonna give you a link to the playlist down below so you can check it out from the beginning all the way till now. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian and Instagram at Comicstorian, and I'll see you guys next time right here.